Good evening and welcome to the 4th Annual Prism Awards for Photonics Innovation. We have 28 finalists and 9 winners that have transformed ideas into innovative products and hopefully revenue and success in the marketplace. So let's start the show. The next category is Green Photonics and Sustainable Energy. To present this award is a person whose career has spanned the optoelectronics business, ranging from R&D, operations, manufacturing, sales, investing, from the lab coat to the term sheet, but very rarely with the tie. He's got some very special glasses on tonight as well. With 2 doctorates and an MBA from the University of Bradford in the UK and lots of energy, he has more than 180 utility patents issued in the field of optoelectronics. He has been cited by the US Patent and Trademark Office to be among the most prolific 75 inventors in the 10 years following 1988. In 1985, his research took him to AT&T Bell Labs from the Royal Signal and Radar establishment in the UK. He then worked at Motorola, Tyco Electronics, and eventually as a corporate investor doing M&A work at Intel before starting Ignis Optics in 2001, which he sold to Bookham, now Claro. He is an IEEE and OSA fellow. He has given numerous talks and panel discussions on optoelectronics around the world, particularly when he was the executive director, president, and CEO of OIDA, based in DC, for several years. Among his many activities at OIDA, he was an early and articulate champion for green photonics, particularly trying to measure the economic impact in this field. About 2 years ago, he joined Translucent, Inc. in Palo Alto to head up the company's R&D efforts to commercialize some very specialized rare earth oxides for epitaxial-based materials, bringing to market new materials that can be used for solid-state lighting and concentrator photovoltaics, which I think we can all agree is a very worthy effort indeed. So please now welcome the General Manager and CTO of Translucent, Mike Lebby.
Evening, everybody. I'm going to, in the next 2 minutes or so, give you a quick run-through on green photonics. And I'm pretty sure quite a few people in the audience really have difficulty understanding what green really means. And it's one of these things where it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But one thing we did discover, 5 years ago when we started this, is that green, the technology breadth of green photonics is very broad. It ranges from telecom to military to materials, lasers, solar energy, sensing, display devices, lighting devices. And we also discovered there's a value chain too, ranging from components at the bottom going all the way to modules, systems, and even service providers. So you've seen things like Greek ecosystem and energy efficient design coming into play. The thing that we noticed very quickly is that green has a huge impact in society. But one of the things we really had trouble back in the 2006, 2007 timeframe was actually defining it. And we actually reduced that to 5 major points. Does it generate or conserve energy? Does it reduce greenhouse gas emissions? Does it reduce pollution? Does it yield a more environmentally sustainable outcome? And does it improve human health? And we systematically went through every optoelectronic category we could find and applied this criteria to photonic components and photonic systems. And one of the things that we realized is that we looked out over the next decade, the next 10 years, and the market number we came up with at the time was about $500 billion market for photonic components and enabled systems, that the green element came out to be 52%. Now, we knew there was a big error bar in that number, but still, what does that really tell you? It tells you that in 10 years' time, in the next decade, there's a general acceptance of energy efficiency to a greater degree. I mean, 50% is a big number. Whether that's 60 or 40 or 35, it does mean the green's here to stay. And so if we bore down into the optoelectronics by segment, the biggest segment was flat panel displays, and that was over $100 billion in 2021. Optoelectronic components was second, reflecting the large role of photovoltaics, PV, and high brightness LEDs. The thing we did notice was that consumer applications were a huge driver for green photonics. And what I got here is a few general observations, because I don't want to spend too much time here, but The thing as we look out over the next decade, green photonics is here to stay and it's going to grow quickly. Photonics market's already global, and the decade trends are very strong for that. When we start looking at optical networks, for example, they must address scaling and power over the next decade, and that is happening. Optical components market is growing very, very well. We're seeing tunable lasers, 100 gigabits, and good performance. We're seeing photonic integrated circuits, which are actually quite green, accelerating over the next decade. We're seeing consumer displays and projections to go green, actually literally with green diode lasers over the next decade. We're seeing organic LEDs for small displays growing very well, and they're going to actually grow fairly quickly over the next decade. And LEDs for solid-state lighting to reduce power. That's going to be ubiquitous over the next 10 years. Solar industry, for example, CPV set to take off over the next decade, even though there's a lot of turmoil in the industry today. So the conclusions, what I usually give in most of my talks, and there's 3 key takeaways, that photonics enables many things and is part of our lifestyle. And we've certainly seen that here at Photonics West, set up by SPIE, and the Green Virtual Photonics Conference is something I thought was really innovative. I've actually tried to put green photonics conferences myself together a few years ago, but what SPIE's done is actually quite impressive. Every year I like to see the papers that are sort of itemized as green photonics, and it's great to see that. The other main takeaway is photonics will be in many products and many applications, and we can see that. But lastly, photonics is green, and it will enable new technologies and products that will also be green. And from this point, I'd like to point to the screen and see who the finalists are. For the green photonics and sustainable energy category, I got to try and hold this prism and open this at the same time. And the winner is nanoplus.
So it's quite a surprise for us, and it's a great honor for us to get this prize here. And as all of you know, I'm just the CTO, I'm Johannes Köth, and so I'm just grabbing the prize here. But my honor has to go into two directions. The first one is towards SPIE and Photonics Media for really acknowledging our work in this area. And the other thank you goes into the direction of my employees, and I want to read out now the 65 names of my employees. Oh, I forgot the list in the hotel. I'm sorry for this. But anyways, to put it short, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. And this one goes to all my employees. And I want to say thank you to all of you and to my team. Thanks.